Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, peewees all around the world. This is episode 2 of season 2 of the Fab Five Bettors Podcast. Um, Gabe is here, Joey is here, no Ryan, no cornbread. So, nothing has really happened in the past week. So it's really finna just be a shooting the breeze kind of episode, if you ask me. But I mean, the wild card weekend has officially wrapped up as of Monday, this past Monday. I mean, I think we should, we'll get into that for sure. But Gabe, we have an update from Gabe. Um, you have been attempting to beat your 63%.
I mean, it's
Is
not.
that correct?
It is correct. It is correct. And to be very honest, it's getting there. We're getting back on track. As we all know, the last time I did the 63%, I had the most horrible start in history. um, no thanks to a cornbread. And I had to curse him out and tell him stop tailing, and then I went hot. Um, right now we're 9-10. We have a bunch of time more left to go. Um, the goal is to finish 11-10 today, and as long as I'm there 55 in around 60 by the time the knockout stages occur, I have a shot. Um, it's gonna be close, but I think I can do it. But it's getting there. It's getting there. We're slowly starting to heat up, which is actually much more better than having to claw all the way back from like 6-10 or like what was it at one point? It was like I think one point at the World Cup, I won the first, I hit the first bet, and then I lost 7 straight. So it's way better than that. So this is much more manageable. So I mean, we'll just see how it goes from here, but it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
Now, now, of course, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
So, when it comes to when it comes to the 63% or trying to beat the 63%, do you have a certain kind of approach as far as, you know, what to pick, what to stay away from, like what's the process here? Because obviously, you got to finish above 63%.
60%.
So there's got to be an approach.
Well, for those who don't know the rules, the 60% is you have to take lines minus 150 or better, and you have to bet on every game in that sporting event. So this is a tournament. So I have to bet on every game. So I have no choice but to pick every game. And the lines have to be minus 150 or better. Obviously, if we all bet in here, minus 150 or better is where it starts to get a little iffy for a lot of sports. A lot of the best plays are sometimes below 150. There's been times where I've seen plays, and give me one second here. Um, I've seen plays that I wanted to take, but I can't take it because it's like minus 155 or minus 160. So I mean, honestly, my logic behind it, it just I just gotta do research. I honestly gotta do research. So I've been doing a lot of looking around. So this tournament right here that I'm betting on is the African Cup of Nations. It's similar. It's the World Cup, but just for African nations. So I know a lot of these guys because I watch a lot of soccer. I'm a diehard fan. But there's a lot of teams from like very smaller countries that I don't know much about. So it's gotten to the point where I've had to watch previous matches of these teams, and sometimes these teams maybe only play as a country twice a year. So it gets difficult. Then you got to start doing deep dive into the players. Where do they play? Do they play in the top? Do they play in the top leagues around the world? Some of these guys haven't even left Africa, and comparing the quality to like these other countries that they're playing against, where they play all over Europe and in big competitions all over the world, it gets very difficult. So honestly, my logic when it comes to doing this challenge is do the research, find where you could find a weak spot, find a weak spot because I'd say right now, especially when it comes to tournaments and like certain events, books don't know how to price it. So sometimes I could see a play where it really should be minus 180, but it'll be like plus money. So I mean, I'm honestly just trying to find. It's honestly just find your spots and see where you can go from there. I mean, obviously with the tournament being in its second match day going on right now for all the groups, I have it'll be easier for me to do it because I've seen these teams play and it'll get easier. But honestly, it's honestly been a bunch of research and watching previous games of these teams and going back. So it's more analytical and it makes you think, but I think it makes you better in the long run. But I mean, obviously, Joe, you could say for some sports, this if we all talked about it, if we was to do this for UFC, I would have to tweak this to minus 200 for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be a unless I try to say all props or even all the props are insane.
Like you would have to do all props. Like it's
I
like
would have to do the money lines are under, but I'd have to almost have to do all the damn props more likely.
so it's just like it makes you think, but you really just gotta do your research. It's not so much, obviously we all know I do my NFL write up. That's it. The amount that's not it's research, but it's not so much because I could okay, I know how he plays, I know how the other person plays. I'm not really focused on the lines. I'm more focused on the value. I'm more focused on if it hits, it hits. This one is like I want it to hit, but I also got to find the value. So, I mean, it's been a mixture of research, and there's been times where I spent 30 minutes finding one play for a game because I have a list of plays that are like after I look at the teams, look at the rosters, and look how they play, and I'll get to like my fifth favorite play on that list, and it hits. But I could personally tell you, there's been plays that I wanted to take, but don't fall under that threshold. So, like as of right now, I have a play where it's the halftime result is to end in a draw, and it ain't looking too good. But but if I could take it, I would have took Angola money line, but that was at minus 200 this morning. So it is what it is. Also, sometimes getting ahead of before the lines jump up and down that helped me a lot too. But I mean, it's a mixture of a whole lot of things.
Okay. All right. Um. Well, we wish you the best in this challenge because obviously, when it comes to sports betting, it's not easy to I'm not gonna say it's not easy to remain above 50, but it's definitely not easy to maintain a record above 50 because it's about maintaining. Like you could get above 50% all day, but maintaining it and increasing it, it's definitely a challenge. So we definitely wish you the best with that for
Yes, sir.
sure. Um, we are in transfer portal season, guys, and the most recent huge transfer that just happened overnight last night, Caleb Downs is officially heading to Ohio State. Now, there was a tweet that I seen. Um, Caleb Downs had came to Alabama and he left Alabama, due to, lost relationships, of course, obviously with Nick Saban retiring. Now he's going to Ohio State. He's going to a school where he has no relationships at.
Nope.
And people are speaking about how NIL money has ruined college football. Now, Joey, I want to ask you a question because I was having a conversation last night, and obviously, it was some valid points that were made. NIL money, yes, does it help the athlete, in question? Absolutely. But as far as where they want to play football at and the reason why they want to play football. It has completely changed. So I just want your opinion. I want your opinion on the whole NIL money thing and how it's completely changed the atmosphere of college football.
So pretty much, I'll throw two names in for example. Um, old boy from USC who finally declared, Caleb Williams, and Marvin Harrison. They were in, from what I heard, they were actually in strong considerations of coming back because if you bring up the old NI deal money, they were actually going to get paid more just from the new year to play more than their ideal rookie contract. And it's crazy. It's a lot of players, like, the coaches are gonna be like, man, I think I can get this player. I can get this player. And as soon as the NIL money comes in, if you get, so you'll get paid if you actually show up here and hibbity hoopla. Has it changed? Oh, absolutely. NIL has changed the platform of all college football and where a lot of players decide to go to school. And when it comes out to declaring, because all honesty, the way it was looking, I thought one of the two were going to come back. The way the whole thing was looking, because the whole news of the Bears, of Caleb saying, oh, if the Bears don't trade, I'm just going to take my NIL money and I'll just kick back and chill for the year, which realistically he could have done. And I'm not going to lie, I like dollar signs. I probably would have done the same shit. But yeah, it's definitely changed. And hopefully, maybe they can try to get control of it a little bit. I'm not saying it's completely out of hand because I think the good athletes do deserve to get paid some. So, yeah, but if you look at guys like Caleb, Marvin, they were the two bigger ones this offseason that really, look, these guys have top 5 pick. And more than likely, they're both going in top 5. I think that's a damn near lock. But I think NFL is going to have to pretty much work around, like, look, if we want them guys to come out, we're going to have to pay them a lot more than what the NIL deal is. So now that's going to be a conflict back and forth between college and pro, where people are like, all right, let me see my options. Am I going to get paid potentially more than my first 4 to 5 years if I get a 5th-year option? Or should I kick back and chill, get my guarantee money from an NIL, and potentially up or down your draft stock? Either way, you're getting money either way, but I think I give it within the next 5 years. I think the NFL is going to have to step up to the plate. Look, if we want some of these stars to come out, no matter what our team is, and it'll say we're bad, we're going to have to convince these guys, look, you will get paid if we pick you at hibbity hoopla pick. So don't be worried. We're going to give you more than an NIL deal. And I'm not mad at it for college, really. Like, colleges are trying to make sure they secure the best players they can, especially this new playoff bracket. Now it's going to the 12. So now you're getting more better looks for potential talent in the NIL to get even more money. So I wouldn't say I got a problem with it, but I could definitely see some conflict potentially happen between college and the NFL when it comes to it in the next couple of years. Because I'm giving it, I don't know who it's going to be. Of course, it wasn't Caleb and it wasn't Marvin, but I'll give it within the next 2 to 3 years. One of these big names that are projected to go like top 5 or top 10 is going to come back and say, oh, I'm coming back just for the money. And it wouldn't shock me if they just kick back and chill with it. Because realistically, that's all you got to do. Because majority of your NI is damn near guaranteed anyway.
Gabe, I don't know if you have an opinion on the situation, but if you do, obviously NIL money has completely changed. The platform of college football. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I've always been in the camp of the NIL is not ruining the game. It's the people giving out the money and who they're giving it to is ruining the game. Cause I'm not gonna let's be very honest. Let's not sit here and act people weren't getting paid under the table back in our day. Oh shit, that sounded old as hell. And let's also not sit here and act like the fact that the NFL is probably one of the worst leagues when it comes to handing out big time contracts. They have one.
Oh, yeah.
They have one of the lowest guarantees. Compared, let's talk about MLB. Got the most. You never see this issue with the MLB.
Oh, no.
Never see this.
They give out blank checks. That's how they do it for MLB. They give out blank checks, put your total, and then boom.
Blank checks. You never see this issue with any other sport. It is just, except women's basketball, but It's near here or there. We all know the reason behind that. But you really only see this issue with the NFL. There are
Mm-hmm.
there are NIL deals that from the 18 and 19-year-olds that pay more than veterans that have been in the league for 10 years. And people are getting upset that kids, 9 times out of 10, probably ain't come from nothing. I'll be like, well, I want to stay here for the money. I would too. I'm not mad at it.
I would too.
I'm not too, because as I always said, your ability can be here, gone. It could be you could be here today and gone tomorrow. To be honest, so at the end of the day, it's not so much it's not the money, because at the end of the day, these people are gonna give the money regardless. It's the people taking the money, and the people advising these kids on what money on everything. Because I mean, realistically speaking, the only way that you solve this issue is that the NFL starts giving more money. That's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go band for band.
Yeah, what?
That's the only way you solve this.
But
Because
I know at one point, not to cut you, I remember at one point when the NFL used to pay even the rookies to come in. Like, you remember, dude, Sam Bradford probably makes the most money than anyone I can even recall coming out the number one. He got paid stats. He could have stayed at Oklahoma, and he decided to come out to the Rams. I believe he got drafted by, and he got one of the biggest contracts of a number one pick. And the crazy thing is, even when he left the Rams and he even came to Philly, the Rams were still paying his finances when he was in Philly.
right,
Same thing with Jamarcus Russell. When Jamarcus Russell came out of LSU, he almost went back for NIL. But the Raiders decided, nah, bro, trust me, we're going to take good care of you. We're going to give you dot the I, cross the T's of what you want in your contract, your rookie year. He got paid bank, and that's why I think the NFL is like, look, when we try to guarantee all this huge money for players coming in, not even playing a down yet, and giving them all them giant guaranteed money, I think at one point, I think the college can be like, look, you have a choice. Either you better learn to pay those kids coming in, or we're going to offer them blank checks. I'm like, look, NIL, we're going to guarantee you this, 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 and it's going to potentially hurt. Like, prime example, one I know for a fact happened was the year that the Carolina Panthers had the number one pick. Andrew Luck was supposed to come out, be the lock in Carolina. Andrew Luck said, yo, I ain't going to Carolina. Went back to Stanford, and then that's when Cam was number one. Andrew Luck took that money. A lot of reports saying, "Oh, he went back just to up." No, that boy took money
no, he took
before before the overall NIL deals got popular.
but
He took that money to come back.
as I always said before, do you think these NIL companies really care about these athletes? No,
Hell no.
no, they don't. So I always say it's always been who's. It's not so much the money. The money was always there. It's who's giving the money and who's advising these kids. Because at the end of the day, we know this more. When you accept the check, you gotta hold your end of the bargain,
Oh yeah.
and that's them staying in school. That's them staying in school. At the end of the day, and I don't know who the support system is. Sometimes you gotta be like, look, you you big you done what you needed to do. You gotta push these kids off. You can't be the super. It's like a lot of this is giving super senior vibes. That's what this is giving. A lot of them's like, I'm gonna just stay here for extra year because I'm the big man here. I'm getting paid. Everybody know me. But at the end of the day, it's like you're only hurting yourself. Realistically,
Yep.
you're only hurting yourself. So it's never been the money for me because the money was always there. It's who's giving the money and who's dangling that little dollar in front of them kids and who's advising these kids. Because a lot of these people that are advising these kids are thinking so short term. And they're like, you know what? The money's here. Let's take it. Let's take these kids for a ride. I could tell you a lot right. There's probably a lot of college athletes whose families are riding their coattails. For right or wrong. We can have a whole discussion about that later on. But it also comes down to the NFL. They got to stop being cheap.
Oh yeah.
Look what they did to the running back position. Devalued it. Now running back is like a revolving door. Unless, really in truth, if you're not a quarterback or a top tier wide receiver,
If you're not, wide receiver, a corner,
or a
or an
corner.
offensive lineman.
Are you really getting paid? Or a top tier defensive lineman? Are you really getting
No.
paid? No, not really. Because a lot of these positions, I hate to say it, revolving door. A lot of NFL players' primes are not that long. So at the end of the day, the NFL, I'm a firm believer you can't control what other people do. The NFL just gonna have to start coughing up more money. That's all it is.
Um, I'll give my piece and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
I just feel like, as far as you said, with the with positions are becoming revolving doors, and that's because the NFL is no longer a ground and pound type of league. This is a
Nope.
passing league now.
Right.
Why do you think quarterbacks and receivers and
All
corners
this.
and safeties are receiving so many multi-million deals?
Yep.
Why do you think Patrick Mahomes became the most highest paid quarterback there is in the last decade? Why?
Mhm.
Why do you think that? Because number one, he's a very talented quarterback. Very talented quarterback. That's a generational talent quarterback right there. Patrick Mahomes. He got paid that money because he's that good. He's that good. There's a reason why he got paid. Why do you think, when AJ Brown got traded to the Eagles and he received the deal that he received? Because he's good. He's a good receiver. Why do you think these guys are getting these deals? It's because this is now a passing league. The running back position is no longer valued, like you
Nope.
said, Gabe. It's no longer valued. If you're a good running back, I hope you're good enough to catch passes out of the backfield.
Not your value's fucked. Because why do you
If you
think
can't do,
go round one anymore? Like, unless you're a generational talent, you could sneak into round one. And that's why you see a lot of other main backs that go in like between rounds 2 to even undrafted. They find themselves in a committee role because that's all a running back is nowadays, a committee role.
if you can't catch passes out of the backfield, hey, you might as well go ahead and pack it up.
Yep.
That's why this position is no longer valued because we're in a passing league now. We are no longer handing off to our running back and averaging 30, 40 carries or 30, 40 run plays a game. We're no longer doing that. We're passing the ball 20, 30, 40, 50 times a game now. When it comes to the NIL deals, though, it's completely ruined college football. Not just for the schools, because some schools can't afford to give all this money just to one person,
Nope.
but it's ruined college football for the people that have watched college football before NIL deals became a thing. Because
Yep.
I know, like Joey, and like Gabe, college football before these NIL deals was an amazing time.
Oh yeah.
You
It
had
was.
kids that were hungry, kids that wanted to prove themselves to these scouts, to the world, to themselves that they're good enough to play on Sundays. Every Saturday night, every Saturday, they were ready to play because they knew they had something to prove. But now, what do they have to prove?
Yeah.
They're getting paid.
They're getting
They have
handouts.
nothing. They're like that. I think that's what really sets apart, you know, from those who really have something to prove to those who like, what do I got to prove?
Mm.
I'm getting paid. You're telling me I'm getting paid to play college football? Okay.
Can't be that.
But the thing is that nowadays it's like this. Let's just say, for example, Florida State. Let's take them for example, right? They didn't make the playoffs when they should have, right? I again, I totally 100% agree. They should have made it. You have players that are leaving Florida State to go get more money
Yep.
Hmm.
because, granted, even though can Florida State potentially offer money for people to
Just the
stay? Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about the schools that are potentially more, offering more money to play at their schools
like your
more than
Alabama
Florida State.
or Ohio
Like your
State
Alabamas,
or
like your
Georgia.
Texas, your Ohio State, your Georgia. You're
maybe.
Michigan. Michigan just won the national championship. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Why Donovan Edwards came back? I can guarantee he's like, hey Donovan, guess what? We're gonna pay you a little bit from NI, and guess what? You're gonna be the lead back.
It's just, don't get me wrong. Like I, I'm all for these kids getting paid because, and I say kids because even though I'm almost in the
Yep.
same age group as them, I'm all for them getting paid because football has become a more dangerous sport day by day. It has. These kids are putting their life on the line every single week. Every single week. It could just be that right there. And then it's a career ending injury. They can never play football again, never touch a football field again. So I'm all for them getting paid. But it just takes away from the fact of what college football is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where you got to prove yourself every Saturday. You got to prove to the world that you're good. You got to prove to these NFL scouts that you're good. You have to prove to your fan base because these are people you're going to school with and that you
Yes.
potentially see in class. You got to prove to them that you're good.
And if you don't back it up, around the campus, the word travels.
If you can't back it up, word travels.
Mm-hmm.
Sure does.
And then before
Literally.
And I was telling Ryan about this the other day about NI. I was like, think about this. It's mainly for football, but if you look at other sports, look at like one thing I used to love watching is the recruitment for college basketball. Think about it. A lot of kids are now going to the G League to get paid. They're going international overseas to get paid. You see all these big recruits, man, they're Kentucky. I just saw a thumbs up. Oh, wait, hold on. I just saw a thumbs up on my screen. That's cool as shit. But yeah, think about it. You think all these top recruits that come, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Kentucky, we're going to Duke. No, nowadays, we're going to the G League. We're gonna get a couple million to play for a season, then we're gonna declare ourselves. And guess what? Nowadays, some of those guys go right back to the G League because some of them are like 17, 18 years old and aren't ready to play a full man's grown man type of game for NBA. And they go overseas. Guess what? They can get twice as more overseas. How the money to get? They're like, you know what? And some families might be pushing for that. Some like, look, we still want you to get your education. And they probably still are overseas or in the G League. They're still probably getting their education of a sort. But they're like, look, financially, sports aren't forever. Like as Mar said, you get in basketball, football, baseball, anything. You can have one bad injury and your shit's fucked. Like one of my favorite players I grew up watching, and Gabe, you might know him. Mar will know him. Ready, Mar? Ready for this one? He had the most potential I've seen in a long time. He got hurt in college. It was never the same again. Marcus Lattimore of South Carolina. He had some of the nastiest potential. He was pretty much Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry existed. He had the most potential to go first round, and everyone was hyping him up. And what happened? He had one bad ACL injury, and it messed up his entire career and could never get back the same.
Yeah. But yeah, that I just feel like, the whole NIL deal, it just takes away from what college football is originally supposed to be. And that's just me. I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan of, people getting paid for what they do.
And they deserve it.
And they deserve it. But
Aim, you're a 5-star. Stay here. An extra year, we're gonna give you some benefits. But a lot of people don't even know that. Look, yes, you're gonna get the guaranteed money sort of the NIL. But you also got to perform to get more of the total amount of money. Let's say that, I'm giving you $9 million, but guaranteed wise, I'm gonna give you about 5.5, 6. And if you want the remaining 3, you got to accomplish this to get the full on contract. A lot of people don't know about.
Right. But yeah, that's our standpoint on that for sure. Wild Card Weekend just wrapped up as of Monday. Very interesting Wild Card Weekend. I mean, first, it started on Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I forgot who played though Saturday.
Texans.
I know it was Texans and Browns, and it was somebody else.
Packers, Cowboys?
No,
that was on a Sunday.
So, Chiefs and
or Monday.
Chiefs and Dolphins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, So those games were Saturday. Cowboys and Packers was Sunday, and the
Rams Lions.
Rams Lions.
And then
And
And then
then
Monday was the Steelers, Bills, and then the Eagles, Bucks. So, um, Texans. I mean, I'm not going to say surprising everyone because I knew they were going to win. I said it from the jump.
so did I.
45, 45-14 was that final score. Chiefs beat the Dolphins, of course, 24-7. Yeah, 24-7. Um, Packers beat the Cowboys to the surprise of everyone. 48-32 was that final score.
I'm mad. I remember saying that. I know we all picked Dallas, but I kept saying before, I'm like, man, I wouldn't love more than anything the Green Bay to go in Dallas and whoop that ass. And hey, I wish I would have stuck with my gut on that play, but it wasn't nobody expecting that. Jordan Love showed why he could be the next guy. That was it was absolutely impressive.
Right. Um, Lions beating the Rams for
And
the
a close.
first time in 32 years, a playoff win for Detroit.
Remember, that's older.
24-23. I wasn't even thought of at that point.
Nobody was in this group.
And then Monday, the Bills beat the Steelers. I think it was like 31-17. And the Bucks beat the Eagles 32-9. So obviously, divisional round is here now. Actually, let's get some thoughts about Wild Card Weekend because it was definitely a wild weekend.
As a whole, it was exciting.
Can I just say, this is probably the worst wild card weekend we've seen, competition wise. Like every team, it was either a blowout. There was only one game that was worth watching. Realistically, Lions and Rams. Everyone got their behind beat. People that Cowboys score talk about, oh, it was close. It wasn't close, man. Man, it wasn't close. No, you know when you let your little brother score a couple points in the basketball game, that's what that was. That's exactly what that was. But nah, it wasn't. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing insane. But honestly speaking,
no,
that was probably the worst weekend I ever saw. Like Monday I went to the next game. That was a good game. That I went, and I was like, I'm gonna get home, see the Eagles, Bucks, good game. As soon as Jalen Hurts gave up that safety, I said, yeah, it's time to cut the TV off. And I went right.
Boy, I went there. Look, I know I was trying to pump up my team. I'm gonna do that no matter what. I don't care if we 0-16, and if we undefeated. I'm always gonna pump my team up no matter what. But one thing I will say going into that game, I told people do not have high expectations. Because I told them the way we've been looking ever since the Niners exposed, and I will get a lot of hate for this from other Eagle fans. And guess what? I don't give a shit. I'm probably one of the biggest ones. Kiss my ass. But I said do not have high expectations for that playoff game. And I went to the Tampa one, week 3, where we won. But I said, look, this is not the same team that we went in there in week 3. The Niners took our soul, and I hate to say it, and they whooped our ass. And we lost to other teams that we probably shouldn't have lost to. Jets, Giants, Cardinals, and probably one other team I'm missing. But yeah, I try to tell people don't do anything with Philly. I don't care if they're the favorite, don't do it. Of course, I'm always gonna pick them. I'm not gonna pick against my team. Don't care what the line, hibbity boo blah. But I tell people don't do it. If anything, sprinkle the Bucks money line. I thought the game was gonna be a bit closer, but that's just the icing on the cake on where changes need to be made. And I hope the good Lord above, that Father God, does answer my prayers because I've been praying that changes do come.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but can we also talk about the biggest upset of the weekend? I just got one question. Are y'all still them boys?
Hell no!
Are they still them boys? No, because
I remember me and Gabe was in the Discord watching that, and I had a good buzz going, and I'm like, "What in the hell am I watching?"
We was watching it, and I was like, "Nah."
I had a voice by the end of that game. I was laughing so hard. They made Jordan Love look like the rebirth, more athletic Aaron Rodgers on the field. I'm like,
that was horrible.
That was terrible.
I loved every second.
But you know what? You know what's crazy? it's a never. Have y'all noticed that it's a never-ending cycle with Dallas? Have y'all noticed that?
And
Like
Mm-hmm.
in the last few years, win a couple games. Oh, it's our year. It's our year. We them
You're
boys.
every
We them boys. And then they get in the playoffs and just
um,
absolutely choke. Now the question is, do you stray away? They're keeping Mike McCarthy now.
he should have been
That
out.
he,
He should have been out of a
he
job.
I I've learned that this week that they're keeping Mike McCarthy.
yeah,
But
he
do
should have.
you do you stray away from Dak Prescott or do you keep him there?
I've
Who are you
always,
gonna go to? Trey Lance?
I've always said this from the rip. Here's what you do with Dak Prescott, right? You give him a bus ticket, right? And have him go all the way to and just send him anywhere with a team with a top 10 pick. Just send him anywhere. That's what I'll be doing. Realistically speaking, I
Who the hell wants them bad playing?
I call Atlanta. I call Atlanta.
And if I'm Atlanta, I'm trading up a little bit to go get Jalen Daniels. Fuck
Cause
that shit.
what pick Atlanta got? What pick Atlanta got?
Number
Not
8.
eight,
Eight.
eight.
Man, I'm telling them I'm trading over somebody. I'm getting Jalen Daniels. Fuck
Listen,
that.
here's what I'm telling you, right? Because right now Bill Belichick look like he about to go to Atlanta, right? And Bill Belichick apparently is a huge admirer of Dak Prescott. You trade Dak Prescott for that number 8. You throw in your first round. You throw in a couple picks in there, and you get that number 8 pick, and you draft a whole new quarterback. Atlanta gets the quarterback.
No one.
Hold on. Atlanta gets the
We're
quarterback.
gonna draft. Oh shit.
Listen, Atlanta gets the quarterback they've been looking for years. Yeah, and the Cowboys actually could have something half decent. Number 8, there's going to be some quarterbacks available.
Look, so pretty much if you're trying to get to one of the top 3 of either Williams, May, and Jalen Daniels, now I think he's gonna be in that mix of top 5 because someone's gonna take him in a trade up.
Listen,
And I know Atlanta really likes Jalen Daniels.
I'm telling you right now.
And
I'm telling you right now. I'm dangling Dak Prescott like, hey, you want him? That's what
I'm not giving up a first round pick for Dak. I'm not doing all that. I know he had good regular numbers, but
I'm telling you right now, that's something that Atlanta would do. I'm telling you right now.
honestly, you know who should quit on some real shit? If especially don't bring him back, I'll go ahead and call Minnesota. Yo, Minnesota, if you don't resign Kirk, we can give you Dak. You know, you have Dak throwing to Jefferson, Jordan, Hawkinson, a better O line. You have a decent running back. If anything, you could draft one in the draft, the deep class.
Yeah, but what?
Hey,
I mean, because Minnesota, they got a high draft pick, no?
Nah, they got like a top 15. Like you can give up a first this year.
11.
You give up a first this year, probably a 1, 2, and then a mixture of probably a set. Oh, I got some balloons on my screen. What the hell? But mix it up with, a first this year, a second this year, and then one of them type of terms. Y'all saw the balloons, right? What the hell is that? I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So 1, 2, and then go. Oh, I thought the balloons were gonna come back, but I'm having fun with that. But no, pretty much one of those picks to where like, okay, Dak, if you do this and play the amount of this, a second can become a first in the 25.
Because I'm just trying to sit here and think, realistically speaking, I mean, if they were to get the 11th pick, we know they're taking a quarterback, right?
Unless you telling me that they rolling with Trey Lance or Cooper Rush,
Oh hell no!
or worst case scenario, let's say that does happen. Let's say they trade him to Minnesota, they get 3 picks, 1, 2, and 3. They get 3 picks potentially. You're not gonna get one of the top 3, and then that leaves you with guys either Michael Penix or Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is going to be at 11.
Knowing Jerry Jones, it would not shock me if he took a guy like Bo Nix. If the trade was what
Bo Nix would actually fit that offense.
He would.
Like,
and if anything, I would hate to see Bo Nix in Dallas, but ideally, if you're talking about realistic terms, if they do trade him to Minnesota and get that pick, I think Bo Nix would be the perfect fit in Dallas.
But I'm not going to lie to you. Dak Prescott, he got to go. Yeah, so
Like I heard from multiple Cowboy fans, some say, "Oh no, it's more than just Dak. It's more than hey, it could be. You don't know." They got rid of Kellen Moore, and for a minute, the offense actually looked smooth. But then towards the back end, it kind of torn to more of a passing game, which that's why Dak and CD was one of the top two combos in the NFL outside of Tua and Hill. And it all depends on how you're going to rearrange this. Look, I have a feeling. Don't be shocked if they lose Dan Quinn. I know Dan Quinn is getting a lot of coaching offers, but if they can keep him in as a coordinator, that's gonna be good. If not, that's gonna be a huge hit on their defense because I think Dan Campbell is a not Dan Campbell. Who is it? Is it Dan Campbell?
Dan Quinn.
No, the guy, the bald white guy. Dan Campbell's the Lions. Robert Quinn, not Robert. Robert Quinn's at the end. I forget who the defensive coordinator is for Dallas though, but he used to be a head coach. Mark, I know you know who I'm talking about. Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator used to be a head coach, but now he just went back to being a primarily defensive coordinator.
Dan Quinn.
Who's the Lions coach?
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn. Okay. I got the Dan's right. I got the last name wrong. Okay. But, yeah, he's getting offered some head coach opportunities.
Now, the question is Jordan Love the future of Green Bay?
I think so.
I'll say this right now.
I think so.
I think so.
You ain't got no choice but to roll with him.
There's a lot of shit. Because think about it, they did a similar situation of when they had Favre and they drafted Rodgers. How long did Rodgers sit for? About 2-3 years before he even took a start snap. Jordan Love did the same thing. He sat for what, like 2.5 seasons? And then once like, hey, yo, Aaron, we trading you to the Jets. Jordan, your time, brother. Next man up. Of course, people are going to say, oh, early he was a little inconsistent. The man's getting his first true run as a starter. You got to give that man some time. And you're telling me in his first year, what he did to the Dallas defense in his playoff debut?
That's not something, yeah. That's not something that just happened.
And I'm the biggest Dallas hater out of everyone besides Gabe. That was impressive as shit. I rewatched that game. That was absolutely impressive.
Now, let's really sit here and talk about it. He has a bunch of receivers. Any one of them any one of them can beat a guy, realistically speaking.
Yep.
So it's like, realistically speaking, obviously they don't want to get the behind whoop this weekend, but
I hope to God they beat the Niners. I would laugh so hard if they went from beating, we America's team to how everyone's jumping on the bandwagon of the Niners. You tell me they beat both of them. They're going to represent the NFC. You tell me you give them two of the hardest tests in the NFC and they go ahead and beat them on the road, and then they play the winner of Detroit and Tampa. More likely Detroit. But
let's transition to another team. I guess we could talk about your Eagles. You know, it was a beautiful. It was a beautiful sight. I'm just gonna tell you. I was so happy. Beautiful. I was so happy and glad when y'all got your behind tore up on a Monday night.
Look, I told people, and we did our show. I said I'm always picking my Philly, but at the same time, do not go in there with high expectations. Because look, I tell people are saying, "Oh, it's more than just the coaches." No. I tell people this: it starts with the coaching when it comes to the players. If you're telling me you're getting a bum ass coach, it's not just him. I'm talking about coordinators too. If you're telling me you're trying to set up a plan, you're trying to set up to motivate your players. If you're telling me your players don't believe in that message, you're not going to keep that locker room. No one's going to believe in you. They're not going to believe in the culture. They're not going to believe in playing with their hearts. They're not going to do any of that sort. So I told people I was not mad. Honestly, and it's almost like a blessing right now because the Niners opened up the eyes of the NFL. Because the Eagles, realistically, if you told me the Eagles won either 2 games at the end of the year, they probably would have been the number 1 seed. Potentially. But the Niners opened up the world in the NFL saying, look, this is how you beat the Eagles. And guess what? They lost 4 out of their 5. And they lost the locker room. The players lost respect for other players and coaches. You're not going to win that way. I don't care what the line was. I don't care who you are, who you're going against. And I told Gabe, don't be shocked if the Giants win that last week. And he's like, "Oh, come on, man. No, I'm telling you, bro, the Giants are going to win." I didn't even watch the game. I kept Red Zone on, and all I kept seeing was Tyrod looking like prime Tyrod in Buffalo before he got hurt, throwing dimes to I don't even know who, because I don't watch the Giants for shit. But I just started laughing. Like, Joe, how you feel, bro? I am laughing. And honestly, as an Eagle fan, we need that kind of wake up. Because realistically, I'm not trying to toot our own horn. We aren't used to getting our ass kicked like that towards the back end of a season, or in general. Because I can't remember the last time we were actually looking that bad. Maybe once Kevin Cobb was starting. That was probably the worst year as an Eagle fan I've seen in a long time. Because I couldn't even finish games watching Kevin Cobb. But, dude, that was... I remember when we got rid of McNabb and the whole offseason, oh, what's the Eagles' plan going to be? Round 2, we draft Kevin Cobb. I'm like, who the hell is Kevin Cobb? And I know, I do a lot of scouting. I'm like, who the fuck is Kevin Cobb? That corn the Cobb Houston Cougar looking motherfucker. I don't know who you is. But yeah, that was the worst years. But honestly, I'm looking back at it, of course, I'm not going to be happy that we lose because I'm used to Eagles at least playing with some heart. We didn't play with no heart. We had no desire to even want to play on the field. And originally, early in that game, I'm like, okay. When we scored our 9 and we were just down by like a touchdown, I'm like, okay, we might actually show up a little bit. We're looking all right. Safety! And the whole time I'm watching the game, I'm just laughing. He's like, bro, you good? I'm like, man, I ain't. In the words of Nate Diaz, I'm not surprised.
But I think we need hold on before you interject there, Mark. I think this is a discussion we need to have about 2 players, and especially this first one here I'm gonna bring up. Jalen.
You about to say AJ Brown?
No, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. I've never seen a regression so bad from an MVP caliber quarterback to a man who can't. I've never a starting quarterback that can't read the defense.
I'm so
in the NFL.
I'm so glad you said that. Thank you for saying that. Jalen Hurts, if not, he's regressed badly. I'm talking like this is probably the worst I've seen Jalen Hurts play ever.
And I told this to my boy Sean. I had a whole long conversation with him. I'm like, the way he looked towards the back end of that fucking season, I said that he was looking like he didn't know how to read a defense, similar to his first year as a freshman at Bama. Because think about it, if his first read wasn't open, what'd he do? He ran. When his first read wasn't open, he wasn't even running. He stayed in the pocket just to get sacked or throw a bullshit pass out of bounds.
I mean, I've always said this from the jump. If you can make Jalen Hurts throw the ball, you've won the game. You've won the game. He is not.
And honestly, if he doesn't show improvement in a rebound, because like I said, I heard rumors that some people are trying to say, oh, we're going to get rid of Sirianni. If you do, cool, get rid of him. I'm fine with that. Go bring in a new head coach. And I already heard rumors they're already looking at coordinators. And I don't want that, as Gabe said, you telling me you don't want no Italian chicken cutting guy as your head coach? No!
Hold on. Let him get it.
Listen. Jalen Hurts, I get what you're saying, Gabe. Don't get me wrong. But Jalen Hurts has never shown me that he has a problem throwing the ball. He has not shown me that. So, like, granted, if you make him throw the ball, it's not like you're dying off of that, because you're not. Because Jalen Hurts can throw the ball. But this year, I have seen this man throw the ball and made the most questionable throws I've ever seen him make in my entire life. Like, okay. Lamar Jackson. Let's take Lamar Jackson, for example. Lamar Jackson is not, I'm not going to say he's not known for throwing the ball, right? I don't want to say that because he could throw the ball.
He has an arm.
Lamar Jackson doesn't scare me when he throws the ball. You have quarterbacks where you get scared whenever they drop back and get ready to throw. Lamar Jackson does not scare me. If Lamar Jackson is my quarterback, I'm not going to be scared if he throws the ball.
Okay, you
Like,
got to have lie and contain and try to keep him in the pocket, similar to what
like Lamar.
Lamar has the stronger arm than Hurts, but
My
there's times
gameplay is
all like a running back.
my game plan is Lamar. Drop back, go through your progressions. If none of them are open, take off. Go. Just go. Just go. But if you have the progression, if it's open, make that play. And he's going to make that play. Jalen Hurts. Same thing. Same rules apply. Go through your progressions. If those are not open, just take off. You have the O line to help you out. If Philadelphia does not have the best O line in the league, it's definitely top 3.
It's not going to be the best next year because now Kelsey.
It's
Apparently,
not. It's not. It's
no.
not. But they have the best O line in the league. If not top 3, top 5.
Mm-hmm.
You have the O line to help you. Go through your progressions, and if they're not open, go. Go. Just go. But he sat there, and I watched him for 60 minutes sit in the pocket and take sacks. Sit in the pocket and just throw passes out of bounds. Sit in the pocket, intentional grounding. Sit in the pocket and just acting like he didn't know what to do with the ball for 60 minutes.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, the coaching and that's what I tell people is more than just the players. Yes, the coaching is not on the field with the players, but the coaching is trying to give out plays that the player. I'm not gonna lie. If I was Jalen, if I didn't like to play, audible. I'm audible in what the fuck fits me. If the coach clearly it should during the regular or the back end, they weren't calling plays for shit. And if you actually go back, I thought I saw a stat when Eagles ran some screenplays. I believe they actually finished the season in negative yards and screenplays, where they used to be one of the better screenplays teams in the NFL. Not anymore, but people would read the screen. Oh yeah, if Jalen's going to stay in the pocket, we either got to throw contain, have a spy in the middle, and then contains in the outside. Oh, you're playing that? Okay. Stupid ass formations. We'll play cover 1 and press the shit out you. And if you tell me you do a screen, we tackling. That's why I'm hoping whoever, and that's why I don't want Sierra in the back, because clearly he had a lot of play calls. Apparently that he gave our offensive coordinator, who's apparently getting a lot of buzz for as a coach, which I'm still trying to wonder. Okay, if he wants to be a coach, bye, so long, farewell. Don't let the door hit you on your ass. But because I know apparently Sirianni actually took Johnson's playbook, broke it down into only things that he liked, and would give the option. Okay, you can do this, this, or that. Do you? And maybe some people are thinking, look, maybe Johnson had more control. The offense could have been better. Who knows? We're not going to know until if he does go to a new team like it looks like he's going to. We're going to find out, okay, was the mess up of the Eagles offense due to Sirianni not allowing Johnson to actually be the offensive coordinator, not letting him potentially run in the playbook that he wanted to run? Probably not. We're going to find out. Because if he goes to a new team and he helps his team tremendously, you can easily prove within the first half month of the season, I think it was Sirianni controlling the offense. I think breaking it down, holding it, being responsible. And honestly, whoever comes in now, I'm telling Sirianni, look, if you're the coach, cool. But let me do me. I'm here as an offensive coordinator. I call plays. I'm doing my offense to fix this quarterback because clearly you don't know how to do it. If I'm coming in, that's the first thing I'm saying. To Hallie Roseman, I'm saying it to the owner. Look, nothing against Sirianni. He is the coach. I respect him as a coach if he's the guy. But let me do me. You're asking me to fix this offense, to fix plays, put points on the board. Let me do me. But especially defense. And usually, if you think about the Eagles, they usually have a pretty good above average to good defense. This year, this was probably one of the worst. And I'm not even talking about me. I've talked to longer-term Eagle fans. They said, especially the one I know who's almost 90, he's like, as long as I've been watching football, that is the worst played defense I've ever seen the Eagles play.
But, Joe, you know what I was told earlier this year? I was told James Bradbury and Darius Slay is the best 1-2 punch in football.
I never said.
That's what I heard. I swear.
Look, I know.
Hold on.
And
hold on. You thought Snead and McDuffie was crazy?
No, Snead and McDuffie is crazy. But those guys are.
Slay And James Bradbury, the same man
No.
that we had to run out of New York.
Look, I told people that I said, if anything, when we got Bradbury from y'all, I was like, look, he's an upgrade to what we had because he's an outside corner.
Lord,
Maddox can't play outside.
if that's an upgrade.
It's not saying, it wasn't saying much either during that time, but we needed an upgrade. We moved Maddox to the nickel, which primarily Maddox, on paper, when healthy, he's arguably one of the better nickel corners in the league. Slay, I didn't mind necessarily because before Slay had his downfall, I give Slay. He was containing receivers. But Bradbury,
the man
like the year before, even when Bradbury had a good year.
The man that can't
And then ever since, ever since that Super Bowl run where we choked in the second half, I don't know. Maybe they're still in Kansas City chilling in the locker room trying to get some Swifty autographs. I don't know, but a lot of changes to be made, or there's going to be. And look, Eagle fans, we're brutal. We don't look. We ran out Byron Maxwell his year one because how bad he sucked. We're going to be running people out of town.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, because that James Bradbury, I can count the amount of missed tackles.
Bro, something in that Bucks game. They said Brad had like 146 points something for allowing receivers to get the ball and go up the field.
I don't know. I think y'all need
corners.
Y'all need corners.
Hey, the entire draft. Go ahead and draft corners until you get it fixed right.
I also need to figure out what y'all gonna do with A.J. Brown and his hissy fit self.
Oh no. No. So I think what's gonna happen is I think AJ's waiting to see what's gonna happen with the coaching. Because you tell me right now, if I don't think Brian Johnson comes back, because every news buzz I'm hearing he's gonna get a coaching job somewhere. Okay, that's understandable. A lot of the leagues are going for the younger coaches as potential. That's fine. I don't think he likes Sirianni. I'll say that right the hell now. If you tell me that Sirianni comes back, you gotta think about this. Do you want your coach, or do you want arguably one of the better receivers in football? You gotta really think about that because you're telling me that you're picking Sirianni, unless they have like a good offensive coordinator coming in. If I'm AJ, I don't want a part of that. Like, no, I don't think we're gonna trade him. I think he might pull his TO cocky mode if we don't trade him at some points, especially if the season starts out slow. Oh, he'll demand a trade. I'll put any amount of money on that. If we start out slow, he's gone.
Honestly,
then we got to look at because we got to re-sign him soon. So this game, if we don't get this shit right within the next couple of years, and I hate to say it, I might be either going gray or I'm going bald.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all window to win a chip is
it's closing.
It's closing
right now.
It's closing.
No, I don't think it's closing. I lose right now until I see some dramatic changes on both sides, and it's not even just the players. It starts the coaching. It starts with the GM. Starts with the owner. If you're telling me you can't make these big baller moves to upgrade this team, I'm not saying that we're a contender every year because we're not. We may win the division. Between us and Dallas, we take turns here and there. Before Eli left, it was a three-way between us.
Yeah.
But then now, ever since Eli's gone, the Giants are still trying to fully find themselves as a team, which I think they got potential.
Trying to find a quarterback. That's another.
Hey, come on,
that's another issue for another day. But I mean, realistically speaking, I'm looking at this Eagles team. I don't know if this Eagles team gets over 10 wins. They might struggle to get 9. Depending on how the way this
right now, if we keep looking how we're looking, and I mean this on my life, we won't get over 7. I'm telling you, if we keep looking how we're looking, and I seen some of our schedule, we play the entire AFC North. Yeah. You telling me if we play how we playing, by the AFC North? AFC we're getting swept by the AFC North if we played how we play.
But I'm not gonna lie enough about the Eagles. Go ahead, Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, but say enough about the Eagles. We can go all day about the Eagles.
I don't want to do that because I'm gonna end up hurting my feelings. Me talking my own shit.
Excuse me. Thank you. Well, divisional round starts today. The Texans play the Ravens, obviously, and then the Niners will be playing Green Bay. Tomorrow night, it'll be the Chiefs and the Bills, and it will be the Lions and the Bucks. So obviously, kind of give our take on each game, pick a winner to see who faces off in the conference championship. I think we'll start with the Ravens and Texans. Obviously, this is a game that I definitely will be watching this game 100% from
Yep.
start to finish. This is the game. You want to talk about a game? This is the game. This is the game I'm watching this weekend. Out of all the games, out of the 4 games that's being played,
It's this one
this
right
is the game I'm watching.
Yep.
This is the game. Chiefs and Bills, we've seen that matchup way too many
And
times in the last 3 years.
it's almost at this point,
Um,
Chiefs and them, it's almost like rewatching the Lakers Celtics back in the day.
yeah,
As they always
right.
play.
Let's see. Uh, the Lions, Bucks. I expect the Lions to take care of business, especially at home. I expect them to, handle business there.
They're still
Green
superior
Bay
team, though.
and yeah, still a good game, but Green Bay and San Fran. I don't want to say it, but if San Fran doesn't at least beat Green Bay by 2 touchdowns, I'm not impressed. Matter of fact, if they can't beat Green Bay by 2 touchdowns, they will lose in the conference championship. I will call it right now. I'm saying that because of the sole fact that yes, Dallas should have beat Green Bay, right? But San Fran, hands down, is the best team, one of the best teams in the NFL, besides Baltimore, because they're the best team in the NFL. San Fran is one of the best teams in the NFL. If they can't beat Green Bay by at least 2 touchdowns, I won't be impressed. And as far as San Fran goes, they will lose eventually if they can't beat Green Bay by 2 touchdowns. Don't let them see Baltimore again in the Super Bowl because Baltimore is going to embarrass them.
Again.
Don't let them play Detroit because Detroit. This is the thing about Detroit. Detroit has a very good run game
And a top 5 O line.
and a top 5 O line, but
Well, first round pick.
their pass game. That pass game is very severely underrated. And San Fran does not have the secondary. The only person they have in that secondary is probably Shavarius Ward.
How about that wannabe Troy Polamalu looking kid? I know he can tackle. That's about it.
Ooh. He's not good in coverage. I've seen
He's
it.
Playing nickel linebacker as a safety.
He's not that good in coverage. I've seen it.
What? No.
It's not great. But my thing is that this is where you have to be completely perfect. Now, granted, you don't play perfect football all year. You just don't. There's going to be games where you come out and you're sloppy. There's going to be games where you come out and you just outright lose. This is the time you have to play absolutely perfect. Absolutely. If San Fran doesn't look perfect in this game, they're going to lose eventually. Whether it's the conference championship, hell, they might lose to Green Bay outright. And I don't want to say that because last week I thought Dallas was going to beat Green Bay. But they could lose to Green Bay tonight. And that's the scary part about it. They can very much as Dallas lost to Green Bay, they can lose to Green Bay.
And nobody would really be shocked.
Nobody will be shocked, but no one is safe at this point. No one is safe. Nobody. The fact that Green Bay came into Dallas, mind you, Dallas was 8-0. In the regular season, Dallas is 8-0 at home, averaging 34 points a game at home. Green Bay came into Dallas and had them down by 20 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, they've never trailed at home at halftime. Never. Not this season. What does that tell you? Green Bay is out to kill. San Fran better be ready. But Houston, Baltimore, that's going to be the game. C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson, this young, hungry Texans team against this Baltimore team. It's just I can't call it. I just cannot call it. I don't know about y'all, but as a football fan, this is something I just have to sit back and watch, especially as a bettor, because at the end of the day, we're bettors here.
Yeah.
This is a better podcast. I can't bet on this game. I just can't.
I'm not.
I'm
I
not,
can't bet on
I'm
this
not gonna
game.
lie. The only thing, I mean, the pick of the day, we took Zay Flowers over receiving, but
Mm-hmm.
49 and a half. But
That's it.
that's it. That's all you can touch.
Yeah.
So
But the thing is, like I said, as a fan, as a bettor, you can't even touch this game. I can't touch this game. I just can't. Joey, do you have any thoughts on this game? I do have Baltimore winning. I do want to put that out there. But don't be surprised if Houston makes it a close game.
I'm about to say it right now. C.J. Stroud goes into Baltimore and gets the win. Look,
it don't matter.
and I'm also saying this. Look, I'm not trying to say because of one player not playing, but who's going to stop Nico Collins with no Marlon Humphrey? I'm telling you, I think the Texans. I'm saying not only the Texans win, I think C.J. throws for 3 touchdowns, not 1 or 2. Those 3. He's going to give 1 to Nico. He's probably going to try to feed 1 to Devin Singletary in the backfield. And then the last one, probably 1 of the tight ends. Either Brevin, who you're telling me now you're using him in the offense in 2 tight end sets. You got to pick 1 tight end and eat the poison of the other. I think there's a good chance.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think, for one, Texans are going to cover. I promise you, Texans, I have a feeling Texans will cover. That 9.5 is disrespectful as shit. Because when the Ravens are -7 or more, they're like 1-7 or 1-9 against the spread. So I do see the Texans covering. But I am going Texans for the win. This is something about that team gives me some type of. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but they just have like this magic run with them, with D'Amico Ryan and how they're calling good offense and great defense, and they drafted well from both sides to get this team upright. And I think CJ's going to keep rolling.
Um, me personally, I think the Ravens win, but I think it's gonna be close. I think this is the game of the weekend right here. Um, that 9.5, that's disrespectful.
Oh, it's extremely disrespectful.
Yeah. I see why they did a +9.5, but yeah, give me the Ravens to win.
Yeah, I'm up by myself. Texans win. I get
Yeah.
to go.
Um, as far as the next game, what is it? What's the 8:30 game?
San Fran and Green Bay.
Okay.
And I know me and Gabe talked about this a little bit during the early breakdown we did on Twitter Space, but I will say this. If the Niners do not get pressure on Jordan Love, the Packers will cover. I will mean that on everything I love. Jordan Love will get this team to cover. Will they win? I mean, if you're telling me you're getting to Brock Purdy's little soft ass, there's a chance y'all could win. You're telling me your defense looks anything similar early to what y'all did against Dallas, Green Bay will be live. And look, we're going to be in the same scenario how we were last week. Man, we would love to pick Green Bay, but, Dallas is a team with a more well-rounded team. Dallas was this at home. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pick the home team in San Fran, unfortunately. I would love nothing more than be wrong like I was for the Dallas pick, and I will clap. I will look. I'm gonna watch this game with Gabe during the fights, and I am going to laugh my ass off the entire time if Jordan Love is dropping dimes like he did against Dallas on this San Fran defense. I'm gonna die laughing. I will gladly get that pick wrong, but for pick wise, I unfortunately got to go Niners. But I'm cheering for the Packers tonight, though. But if they do get the Jordan Love, I buy the Niners at 9.5. If they get the Jordan Love, it's probably going to be like Mar said. If you're telling me you're not winning by 2 touchdowns or more, if you get the Jordan Love, then something wrong.
San Fran has the tools to beat Green Bay by more than 2 touchdowns. If they
I-
can't do it, I don't know what to say.
You know what? This on some real shit. And I told this to Ryan. If that San Fran defense gets to fucking Jordan Love, we may see an ideal repeat of Michigan and Washington. It could be them just running the ball down fucking Packers' throat, Paul's, and then just absolutely tormenting them the entire game, similar to how Michigan did to damn Washington. It wouldn't shock me. You're gonna make Jordan Love throw, and then you're gonna be sending extra blitzers, and you're gonna end up hurting that young man's feelings. It would not shock me. But I'm not. If anything, the one play I will say over this game, I told Gabe. He told me this morning. I was shocked in hell. Gabe, don't say no either. Mar, what do you think Jordan Love's over for rushing is?
9.
Oh, you damn near got it. It was 8.5. You telling me his ass can't look? He's gonna be running for his life in this game. I think. I really do believe that. Unless you're telling me he just stays in the pocket and gets sacked. Is it possible? Absolutely. He can probably, if the Niners really blitz him like I'm expecting, and Jordan Love can't make the read quick enough, I'm expecting him to get sacked at least 6-7 times. And the Niners, as you said, win by more than 2 touchdowns. But I don't know why I'm feeling that 8.5 is low though. Because Jordan Love, one thing I will say, as you said, for Lamar, you said for Jalen, if he doesn't get a read, he'll run. And that I do respect. And I think at least Harbaugh is smart enough to set up some game plans to try to contain him in the pocket. But, yeah, unfortunately, I got to go Niners. So, it's ugh.
Nice. Well, moving on to Sunday. I guess we could talk about the 3:30 game. Was it Lions Bucks? Lions and Bucks. This might shock people. Give me the Bucks to win. Give me the Bucks to win. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed by the way the Lions narrowly eked out against the Rams. They should have lost to the Rams last week. And
I think the Rams are a better team.
I think the Rams are a better team than the Lions, to be honest. But I mean, we all know that this. I don't know. I just feel like the Bucks got one more upset in them. I really do. But give me the
And
Bucks.
Marv,
Give me the Bucks to win.
before we say, I think we're going to be on the same side of the game right here. Because me and you both view what this team has. And it's been so disgusting all year. Mar, you want to say our pick on 3? Because I have a feeling we're going to be on the same side. 1, 2, 3. Lions.
Detroit.
Look, I'm sorry. It's what they got. When I heard someone actually say this, and I actually laughed. You trying to contain Montgomery and Gibbs is like I heard somebody call them salt and pepper. I'm like, where the hell you get salt and pepper? But pretty much, you can't contain both. If you're going to try to contain the inside of Montgomery, good luck containing the outside of Gibbs. If you contain the outside of Gibbs, you're not stopping the inside of Montgomery. So you got to pick your poison, and then when you try to crowd the box with your front 7, guess what? And I'll give Jared Goff credit. He is one of the more better play-action QBs in the league this year so far from what I've seen. Oh, guess what? You're going to crowd the box on our front 7? Guess what? We have Laporta. Oh, guess what? We have a nice little, one of the more underrated receivers in the league, my man Amon-Ra St. Brown. And guess what? If we really need to, if he actually wakes up, we might have one of the top 5 fastest guys in the receiving room in Jameson Williams. So that boy, I know he's fast as shit. And I don't know if the Bucks 1-on-1. If you're telling me you don't get your hands on Jameson deep, Pauls, he's gone. No one of the Bucks staying with him 1-on-1. If you're telling Jameson just to run straight. But yeah, I think Detroit. I had no problem with Detroit. If I was to bet on a game this weekend, it's probably going to be Detroit. And I would have no problem doing it. And I would even possibly look at one of the running backs is over for rushing yards. and it might be Montgomery because one thing I will say about the Bucks, and I give the Bucks credit for, their front seven is athletic when it comes to sideline to sideline. But not the Rams, the Lions, I think they're gonna have advantage with the big boys up front. As I said, this is why you invest in the O line, you invest in the big boys, which a lot of people don't do. Oh no, we have an athletic quarterback, we have all these weapons. I don't care if you have the top 3 all-time wide receivers in the damn league. If you're telling me you got some mediocre O line, you better hope you have Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Drew Brees that throws the ball out less than 2 seconds. I got no problem betting Detroit against, and I got no problem with player props in that game when they come out tomorrow, which you'll see in the Discord if you join the Discord for free. Mr. Gabriel is a Houdini when it comes to. Oh, look at that. Ooh, that's Saturday plays. Oh, I was about to give my boy Gabe some props. I'm like, ooh, I just said that shit and he just dropped them.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, get first look.
I've already. I have the write up ready for tomorrow. Almost done. I'm just waiting on a few more things to come out. But yeah,
And then the last game is who? A Buffalo.
yeah, um, we all know how this is gonna go, do we?
Can we just say it on if we do think it's going to go like I think it's going to go?
One,
I don't think we're going to. One, two,
two,
three.
Chiefs. It's the Chiefs.
Oh, Mark.
You think the Bills are gonna? Oh, Jesus. Let me hear this. Go ahead.
Oh,
I want to
before
hear.
Mar does say something, I'll tell you my short story of it. If Buffalo does win it, it's going to be cold. Buffalo clearly has no problem playing in the cold. And they have more ways I think they can actually get down and get in scoring positions than what the Dolphins did. Because clearly the Miami tuna fishes, they got too cold and couldn't defrost in time. But sorry, Ryan. Sorry, not sorry. But this type of weather does fit Buffalo. And as I said, if you can contain, Kelsey and which I think Taylor Swift, pretty much took the talent out of him like the Monstars in Space Jam. And actually just contain Rice. I think they're live. But I just got a feeling they got this script going where they're going to try to find a way to keep the Chiefs pushing. And I hope I'm wrong. But
But yeah, Mar, why you think the Bills gonna do it?
Um, I really just said no because I don't give a fuck about this game. I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing these two teams play each other. I'm tired of it. I'm just honestly tired of seeing them play each other. Honestly, whoever wins is going to have to play Baltimore, and Baltimore's going to kick the shit out of them. It does not matter. It don't matter. It just doesn't.
and Mar, I hate to say, I have a feeling what's going to happen in the future in the AFC. So it's going to be between these amount of quarterbacks that we're always going to see. These sort of matchups. Ready? We're going to have Holmes in the mix. We're going to have Lamar, Josh Allen. We may see the return of Joe Burrow if they fix some things. And all honesty, in this division, now that we've seen what these guys are made of, I think we're going to see the Texans every year. So pretty much you're going to see those 5 quarterbacks in some sort of range always play each other. It's going to almost be the same shit.
Oh boy, ain't nobody want to see all that.
Think about like Mahomes is always going to find a way to get in. I'm not saying he's going to win a first round. Mahomes is always going to find a way in. Lamar is going to try to find himself in. Joe Burrow, if healthy, if you tell me they get that shit right, I think the Bengals can contend for a playoff spot. I said Josh Allen, I think. But so C.J. Stroud, I think Texans are going to take over the division. Until they figure out what they can do in Jacksonville to protect Lawrence, no one's worried about Tennessee. I hate to say it, nobody's worried about Tennessee. And who's the other team in that division? There's Titans, Texans, and we'll see about the Colts. If A. Rich can stay healthy and they can, provide, maybe they can get a little something there, but it's a Texans division to lose. I think Stroud's going to end up taking that division over. It's going to be the same thing in the AFC. You're going to see those familiar faces for the next, probably 5 to 8 years. Unless some dramatic change happens. And
All right.
different because you see, oh shit, the Niners are back on top with Purdy. Who knows? Maybe next year. Maybe it's the Lions. Maybe it's the Cowboys. Maybe it's the Eagles. Maybe it's who the hell knows. Different faces are always on top.
But yeah, but no, I think that's about it. Really, I mean, there's not really else. Unless anyone has
Yeah.
anything else they want to add, I mean, it's a big weekend for sports. NFL, always got college ball. Um, yeah, UFC.
Um,
I do
296.
want to say this though. I do want to say this. For the Super Bowl, we will be doing something special. So make sure you guys tune in for that because we will be here for Super Bowl Sunday. We're gonna do something special for that. So I would say stay tuned, lock in. It's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun. Um, it is a big weekend for sports. We're really getting into the nitty gritty. Baseball's literally right around the corner.
oh, speaking about baseball, before you close, Mister, you got yourself a new closer. It looks like.
Yeah, man, we got Josh Hader, man. It feels good. It's been a long time, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and I'm so happy because baseball is just it's a sport where you have the teams that get what they need and the teams that just don't need the shit and they still get them anyway. We're getting pitching, we're stacking on pitching, and
Yep.
that's what we need to do. I love that. But yeah, baseball's around the corner. College basketball's picking back up. NBA is, picking up as well. We'll definitely be talking about more NBA, as the football season comes to a close. So be on the lookout for that. If you're not already following us on Twitter, make sure you go ahead and follow us on Twitter. Join the Discord if you're not already in the Discord. Link is in the bio. It is free, so you don't have to pay for anything. Make sure you go ahead and check us out on. You can listen to all the previous episodes of the podcast on Spotify. You can also watch them on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. Um, we will start uploading the podcast to Apple Podcasts eventually. We're getting in the works of that, so that's another platform that we will be on that you can listen to all the podcasts on. Um, 2024, man. It's gonna be a good year. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a great year. So make sure get here and lock in while you can.
Yeah. So,
For sure.
anyone else got
But I think
anything?
that's it.
I think that's it. So, I mean, we'll see you next week. Oh, and that's about